Well, hello everyone. Thanks for being here. Today's topic is about managing high stress situations during real estate closing week. Yes, a very exciting week and also a little bit of stressful week for many reasons. So, let me paint the scenario. You're in closing week and you as a buyer or a seller are just a few days away from completing one of the largest financial decisions you will ever make, which is buying or selling property, whether that is a single family home to a commercial building. The process of the stress is fairly similar. It's exciting, but it can be overwhelming. Why would it feel overwhelming? Well, there's so much information coming across your emails to be reviewed and so much communication among different parties. And yes, you have very critical involvement in the process. The documents are arriving for you to review to make sure that those closing documents are fully understood prior to closing. So by the time you get to the closing table, you're just ready to sign. All right. Deadlines in terms of closing dates are getting tighter. Yes, we all march against certain closing timelines for various reasons, and we want to make sure we meet those timelines as much as possible. All right. And sometimes there will be last minute requests that come, and it's normal, that can come from your title agent or from your lender team. All right. For many buyers and sellers, this moment is when the stress goes up the roof. Yes, it really does. But here's the good news. In most cases, this closing week stress levels could be completely manageable. Well, how do we do that? Well, I really believe that the more you as a buyer and seller understand the process, what is happening, what's going on behind the scenes, you understand the expectations, the stress level is reduced. And that's the key for you to be clearly in alignment to what's going to happen. So today, I'm going to take some time to walk you through how to navigate closing week in a more calm and confident way. So with that, let's get started. Why closing week feels intense in real estate? Well, let me share a little bit. During closing week, several real estate professionals work together at the same time to finalize your real estate transaction. Yeah, we all want to make sure that everything goes well. So, for example, your lender for that loan will be confirming perhaps the final loan numbers, the terms, the rates, the conditions, all those different things to make sure that you as a buyer are clear on what the loan is going to look like for that purchase. Your real estate title company may be clearing miscellaneous things that may be remaining, whether it's any type of liens or association pending items, etc., to make sure that that title that you as a new buyer will inherit is free and clear of any potential issues. Very, very important. Your real estate agent would be coordinating timelines between buyers, sellers, and lenders. So there's a lot going on, as you can see. So all these moving parts come together at the same time at the finish line. That is why closing week can be really fast paced for certain, and obviously that will feel overwhelming for many buyers and sellers. But here it is, something that I want you to know. Most closing week stress, as I said a little earlier, really comes from uncertainty, from not knowing what really is going to happen. It doesn't necessarily come from the actual problems that we all have to overcome. This is why it is super important that effective and proactive communication among all parties, it's there from beginning to end. All the parties involved, including buyers and sellers. Once you, as a buyer and a seller, understand what to expect in the process, the entire process and steps become much easier for you to manage because you will know exactly what we're going through. Now let's go over what to know and what to expect during closing week in real estate transactions, okay? During this closing week usually includes many things, but we're just gonna go over the main ones, perhaps 4 or 5 of them, okay? So you as a buyer and a seller will need to know the following. You will be reviewing a very important document that is called a disclosure, closing disclosure, I should say, which includes the finances of the transaction, outlined the closing costs associated for the buyer and the seller. It will all be outlined in that document and many other items. That document, as a matter of fact, will be given to buyers and sellers in advance for them to review it, so there's no surprises when it gets to the closing table. And yes, you'll have the opportunity to discuss that with your title agent. Okay, the buyer will have the opportunity to do a final walkthrough of the property that you're buying, yes, to make sure that there's no surprises and nothing's happened to the property, and that is a key step prior to the closing day. Then you may be asked to provide last minute documents from your lender, such as perhaps updated bank statements and anything else that they may have. They do have questions at the last minute and so forth. They will be reviewing also those documents with you to make sure that the terms of the loan are fully understood before getting to the closing table. The title agent will be confirming the wire instructions, and they will be following a very strict and confidential protocol to make sure that the wires goes to where it needs to go. It typically goes to a very specific escrow account where those funds will go, and there will be dispersed after closing the documents to the appropriate to the seller and to the other members that get commissions and things of that nature. So preparing for that signing day is really important. And I got to tell you, none of this task is really unusual. This is perfectly normal in any real estate transactions. They're simply part of the final stage of what we do in real estate. Now, when you know what is coming and what is happening along the way, that typically removes the biggest source of stress in real estate transactions, which is surprises. Surprises come from not knowing, right? So I would say that preparation always creates some level of confidence, and that's what we need to make sure we do well with the buyers or sellers, to make sure they understand the process so there's no surprises, and we minimize the level of stress in the process. I'm going to talk about something that may sound like a no-brainer, but it is truly important, and that is nothing more than staying organized with buyers or sellers. Closing week becomes so much easier when everything that you will need is easy to find, when you have those pieces of information easily available to react. For example, important closing emails that you may need to extract for any type of information that is pertinent to closing. Financial documents that your lender may request, even if it is at last minute. Yes, it's important that you have that readily available. The valid government IDs, which you must need and have in hand for signing days. Without that, you can't close, right? A simple checklist of any remaining tasks that you're aware of, having that available will keep you in check. So when you stay organized, just like anything in life, right, you will remove the last minute scrambling that typically takes place and causes most closing weeks to become a frustration. Just like when you can't find your keys for your car in your home, it's frustrating, right? The same thing for closing week. So in closure for this particular element, think of preparing for, that marathon that you're about to, get to the finish line and close strong and give it all you got. So that's exactly what we need. We want to finish strong by having everything that you need in place so we can prevent any last minute surprises or delays. That's it. Now we're going to educate you a little bit about expecting small surprises in real estate transactions. Yes, we are not in an ideal world. Even in smooth transactions in real estate, small issues can appear at last minute. Yes, it's normal. For example, a document that may need an additional signature last minute. Guess what? We understand it. We get it done. We get it signed. Big deal. Okay. The title company or title agent may need to correct a minor detail that was left behind for whatever reason or something that needed correction. We correct it, we get it done. Your lender may request one final verification for whatever reason may be. Guess what? We understand it, we get it done. These situations are very common in real estate transactions. And most of the time, they are all resolved very, very quickly by the professionals involved. They all want to work in your file. They all want to do the right thing. They all want to finish in time. So the key is to understand the problem, get it corrected, get it completed, get it done. If something small appears during closing week, it is important for you and anybody that is part of it not to panic. It's not a disaster. It's not the end of the world. Things will happen and we'll get to the finish line. So it is simply part of the normal process of finalizing real estate transactions. We all know how to ask questions, right? Yeah, so we're going to talk about asking questions before things get to a closing week. You should, as a buyer and seller, have the ability and the confidence to never feel confused during closing week. Why? Because if you ask questions that you may be unclear, we should be able to give you the answer. So if something in a document feels unclear, or if a request does not make any sense to you, simply ask. So those questions could be clarified before the closing day, all right? Your title company, your lender, your real estate agent, they're simply there to guide you through the process every step of the way. So please do not feel uncomfortable in asking any questions. For most of you, if it is the first time, there will be a lot of questions, and that's okay to ask them. A simple question can remove tremendous uncertainty and give you the clarity that you need to move forward with confidence. That's what we want. We want you to feel good about it, right? So remember that this real estate transaction that it's going to happen during closing week, you deserve to understand everything along the way from beginning to end. All right, now I'm going to talk about something that we should all do, and that is take care of yourself during closing week. Yes, closing week can involve so many things, as I shared earlier. Multiple emails, phone calls, documents, signatures, you name it, overwhelming. It could stress us out, but only if we let it. So this is what I say to you. Simple, but I think it should be done. Make sure that you still get enough sleep, get hydrated or stay hydrated throughout the process. Take breaks from your inbox and your texts and, take a break before responding. It's fine. All this, taking those pauses, a calm and clear mind will help you make better decisions, and of course will keep small stressors from feeling overwhelming. Ultimately, no matter what happens, no matter everything that goes in the process, the people that are helping you, we should all help you the best way we can, but ultimately we have a choice to manage our stress. And I think part of that is taking good care of ourselves. The world's not ending. Indeed, closing week in real estate could be stressful. Yes, it can. But it doesn't have to be chaotic, okay? When you combine a good level of preparation with effective communication and organization, this final stage of your transaction becomes much easier and smoother to handle, all right? Instead of just feeling like a stressful rush, this closing week, which is so important, simply becomes the final step in you receiving those keys of the big American dream that we all want in life, is purchasing a home or any type of real estate, whether it's commercial or residential. That's it. So if you have a closing on real estate coming up and you want to feel prepared, instead of being highly pressure stressed, just simply connect with your title team early. Ask the questions that you want. to make sure that you have all the answers that you need, that will be able to feel comfortable and more confident in the process. So I've always said that a well-guided closing by the parties involved can make all the difference. So I hope that you do that with a great team, a team that you can trust and that can help you along the way. So if you found this session beneficial, please share it, press like, and of course, we would like you to subscribe. And with that, we will see you on the next session.